He's out. That's just gone.
Okay. Now I understand we have a caller on the line or two, so let's take the caller, and thank you very much for waiting. Welcome to the DADS Television Network. Hello, caller.
Hello?
Yeah, what's your question?
Well, I had a circumstance. I live in Washington County, and I got divorced and have been paying child support for quite a few years, and all of a sudden my wife wants to have me pay the state. I was paying her directly. So I started doing that. My son decided that he would come and live with my wife and I, my new wife and I. So he came and lived for 2 months, and then the third month he went back home. Well, she took me to court and wanted child support from me while he was living here. So we went to court. We went to court in January.
You need not go any further. Is that your question? Do you have to pay?
No. What I wanted to say is that there's a little more part on that. So I got a judgment against her. I won in court. The district attorney sent me a copy of the law, and I won. But what happened is that they were.
You're lucky, I think, but go ahead.
Well, they sent me a copy, or didn't send me a copy of this letter. We filed our income tax, our state income tax, and they took $500 out of my account and said that I was owing that for child support. After about 4 hours of calling, we finally got a hold of somebody down at the state, and they're going to send us a check in the next 3 or 4 days. They said they made a mistake.
Good for you. You know, you've been awfully lucky, guy. I'm glad to hear that story. I don't hear those kind very much. There's another element that plays into this, too. Do you get the exemption?
No.
Okay, maybe next year you'll get the exemption.
Well, I don't know.
Is he with you or with her now?
He's back with her again.
Okay, you don't get the exemption.
But I was really surprised that the district attorney sent us a copy of the law before we went to court. And I mean, it was pretty cut and dried. I don't think the judge could have found any other way.
Just consider yourself lucky.
I do.
Thank you very much for the call and that wonderful
thanks.
story.
Bye.
Greg, you would call him lucky too, right?
I sure would.
Would you call him lucky?
Same. I second that.
Okay. Do we have another call on the line? Let me look to the crew and see if we have another call on the line. Do we?
Yes, hello.
Hello.
How you doing this evening? Hey, I appreciate the information on the show.
Sure.
I have a two-part question. I'll take the answer off the air.
Thank you.
I recently received a letter from the state that they had intercepted tax refunds, and my payments for child support were due at the first of the month, and the garnish on, or basically the interception of the tax refunds, were done at the same time. My account is current. However, trying to contact the state, the information that they have is that it will take 120 days for them to finish processing and return my refund that I'm due, even having an account that's clear. Is there anything that can be done to speed up the process, or I guess my better question is, why does it take 120 days?
Gotcha. Now, what's your second part? And I'm going to ask you to turn your television down. The sounds kind of vibrate through the phones and the equipment here. That's what we heard. What's your second part?
Well, the two questions are, one, what can I do
to speed up the process?
Speed up the process, but the important thing that really boggles my mind is why it takes 120 days for the state to clear the refund back out when they know that the balance is current.
And we're talking about a federal refund?
Federal and state both.
Okay, thank you very much for the question. Which one of you guys want to tackle that?
I am absolutely unwilling to speculate about anything about why it takes the government so long to do anything.
Well, that's probably why.
It takes them a long time to do everything except
take your
collect
money?
taxes.
Yeah. Okay, Vic, you want to?
All I'd add to that, I do a lot of tax work, like I said before, and dealing with the Department of Revenue, Oregon Department of Revenue, or IRS, everything takes a long time because you're talking about large bureaucracies. IRS is bigger than Oregon, but they're both bureaucracies. Things go through a lot of people's hands. It takes a long time. That's just the way it is.
And I'm going to stick my foot in the water here, and maybe in my mouth, but the systems are different, and I don't want to appear as though I'm taking the side of the state or trying to soft pedal what the state does. But because your name is on that list, the IRS list, you will be hit. They have, the IRS itself, the intercept section, has no control over that. That's a state issue. And sometimes guys are found to be current but their name or their social security number is still on that intercept list, and they operate independently. And I have run across many cases where guys are current, and sometimes, very few times, but sometimes they're ahead, and their name is still on that interstate, on that IRS hit list. Again, because they're independent, and whatever the agency is in the state that has to do that has to either send the letter or make the phone call to pull the dogs off of you. And if they don't do it, they're still on you. And just because you've been hit with an intercept has nothing to do with whether you are current or behind or anything else. It means your name is on the hit list and someone forgot to remove it. That's about as simple as I can make it. Anything you want to add?
Yeah, I think we need to give the devil her due where Oregon is concerned. The fact that people can call up, point out a mistake, and get an apology and admission, we made a mistake, we'll send you your money back. We need to rejoice about that.
Okay.
I have represented clients in Alaska, Montana, Idaho, and Nebraska who were Oregon residents and had child support judgments in those outside states. And those states, these four men were current in their taxes, in their child support. But through various messes and misunderstandings and welfare frauds on the part of the moms, the state where mom was wanted a piece of dad. Mm-hmm. So they turned him in and they garnished or grabbed his tax returns, and in each of those circumstances I spent a lot of my clients' money each time, and each time I was unable to recover anything.
Okay.
Their response was, well, if you think we made a mistake, you'll have to sue us. And when somebody lives in Oregon, and the idea of going and hiring a $400 an hour lawyer in Alaska where you've never been to file a lawsuit and fight against the state trying to get back a couple of $1,000s, it's absurd.
Okay, we've got another caller out there patiently waiting. So hello, caller, and this may be our last call, but go ahead with your question or comment.
I have a question. The state of Oregon is currently garnishing 60% of my wages for 4 children that I've had by prior marriage. I would like to know what the difference is between Oregon and Washington as to how much they can legally take from a guy till you fall underneath the guidelines of poverty.
Do you have a limit on that? That's always a question. And
there's no life after what they've got going.
Well, actually, what he's playing to in Oregon, they send out a little statement that the state can take up to 50+%, there's 52 or 53, and then they refer to some federal law, which is codified in U.S. Code 15, section something or other, which has to do with some sort of limits on garnishment and consumer debt and a whole bunch of things like that.
That's basically the case in Washington too. It's not that much different in Washington. It's in regards to.
So he wants to know how much what's the upper limit, I guess, on those percentages, which is over 50%.
Yeah, Oregon isn't going. I mean, Washington isn't going to be any different than Oregon in his case. I mean, if he's thinking of moving to Washington to get a lower,
It won't happen.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. I mean, it's going to be the same.
Anything from you on that?
I was under the impression that they couldn't garnish more than 25% of net.
Okay.
But that varies. Caller, is this all one divorce or two or more families?
No, this is one divorce. And what they've done is they've attached 60% of my wages. I now have custody of one child, but I'm still paying child support on the other 3. And I've tried to get the Department of Support Enforcement to lower my child support, which I've been through a 5-month process trying to get this done so far, and nothing's happened.
Yeah, why don't you hire a lawyer?
Well, every lawyer that I've tried to hire tells me it's an insurmountable progress or process, and that they're unwilling to take it because the state of Oregon is such a mess. They don't know what to do with it concerning child support.
When's the last time your child support amount was
modified?
Was reviewed?
They just went through review here less than 2 months ago. I pay $750 a month. It's what's coming out of my paycheck.
Is that a current amount, or does that include a rearage to boot?
I think that is current plus an arrearage.
What's the split on your current and arrearage, please?
Current is like 100, 98, and the arrearage, I don't know what that is. I can't get them to send me any records as to what they're doing with my money or where they're putting it.
Well, look, we're probably not going to solve your problem over the air, but I'm going to thank you for the call. And then in addition, I'm going to say, if you want to talk with Greg Austin sometime, his number is 222-6102, and you guys can get together and talk about it. There's no way that we're going to resolve that. We're closely running out of time. I want to show a piece of footage if the control room is ready. We've got a 1-minute piece or so that we might be able to get on and run through. It's a positive thing about fathers. Roll tape there, control room. Can we?
2007, and I don't know what, you know, every one of these, House Bill 2007, I don't know. There's a story behind every bill, and I don't know what the story is behind this one. But it says that paternity shall be established for every case that CSD removes from a home for reasons of abuse. Now, I have no idea what the facts were behind this case, but the bill says that CSD shall cause paternity to be established, or at least attempt to establish paternity for every child born out of wedlock who is removed from an abusive home. I can't imagine why someone would want to legislate that issue.
I do, Mr. Austin does, and I'm sure Mr. DeFleming does. That's what we're dealing with in Salem. All too often, in a paternity type situation where the father is unknown, then the CSD comes in and removes a kid from the home. Fathers are out there looking for their kids. Why not find out who the father is? It doesn't make sense not to find out who the father is. The father may be a possible choice for placement of the child. And so there's no law on the books that says CSD has to identify a father. Just take the kid out of the home, put the kid in foster care.
I think you're being far too optimistic.
Well, and so what we're saying is we understand that kind of law. But just think, some of us at DADS, we go down there and deal with these agencies, they don't understand what we're talking about at all. You people have to get involved in the legislative process. Please get involved. Now, hopefully we can put another piece of footage in. I don't know if we're ready. If we are, I'll roll that other piece of footage. Can we roll that? Can't roll it? Can't roll it. Okay. Did we have a call on the line? Let's clear up the switchboard. No call on the line. All right. We'll do some closing remarks. Vic DeFleming runs operation, runs his law practice in Vancouver, Washington. I don't know the numbers. I'm going to let you give out your Vancouver number. Vic, what is?
Okay. The Vancouver number is 360. That's the area code. 750-5572. The Portland line is 503-286-3588.
Now, where are you located? You're on Main Street at 111 Main Street?
1111 Main Street.
1111 Main Street.
11th and Main.
11th and Main. And
Downtown Vancouver.
What floor?
7th floor.
7th floor. See there, you learned something already. And also, Greg Austin, gracious enough to come here too on this wonderful day. All of us want to be out doing something else. Where are you located and what's your phone number?
522 Southwest 5th Avenue, Suite 905, Portland. Phone number is 222-6102.
Now, you guys that are out there listening, these attorneys were gracious enough to spend their time with us. This happens to be a Saturday. You may see it on another day. If you have questions on domestic relations law, maybe you can get some answers from these guys. They don't have free services, but they do know the business that they're dealing with. If you have any closing remarks, Vic, what do you want to share with the guys out there?
I can't think of anything real quick to summarize. You know, we've covered a lot of things here.
Okay, and Greg?